Oh, there you go. First try. Are you kidding? Wrong maid. That's true. That is the wrong maid. What the? You know what? It's just that easy. Just get more of them, right? It's chat. I don't know what. Why you guys like, dude? It's not that hard to get SSR. It's just that easy. Watch. See? Like I said, chat. It's just that easy. 2 maids and 2 pools. I'm gonna be real with you. What the do we test here? I don't know how we can test her properly. She's gonna keep getting drunk and then get hungover. No, because like, okay, the reason I'll show you why Aid and Coco is not really gonna work well. Let's see first the base behavior, right? So right now she got drunk. Pirate's heart. Yeah, that's her debuff, right? Okay, the 36% hit rate doesn't seem that bad. Look, never mind, it's kind of bad. Wait, yeah. Look how big the circle is. Look at the circle. Okay, so she is too drunk right now. Look at the circle. Oh my god, it's like spray praying. Okay, now she is 3 stacks drunk, right? By the end of full burst, she should get stunned, right? Oh, I got stunned right there. You got stunned. Yeah, that's what we figured out. She lost the Pirate's Heart debuff, so she's not drunken anymore. So she lost her drunken stacks. I mean, she's gonna be stunned during the duration of this, and then the 4th burst rotation comes in, and then she has the stacks again, and that's the circle. So the circle is still relatively small. Yeah, so once we enter burst 1, we get an extra stack of drunk again. All right, so let me show you why it's not gonna work with Mica, right? So that's the base behavior. So Mica or Coco, right? This is what's gonna happen. Okay, so we're gonna get our drunk right now, right? So we got drunk, Pirate's Heart. Then use Coco. It's gone. It's bad because again, it counters what we need her. She needs to be drunk. That's the way that she needs to be drunk so she can get those buffs. The thing about her getting drunk, right there, once she gets drunk, she gets this critical rate, right? The Pirate's Heart critical rate attack. These ones, it's continuous because while it's only in drunk, and it affects all allies. So you want to keep her being drunk. It's real. The thing is, like, the way she works is really tailored towards having anchor, specifically the way anchor cures the debuffs. Maybe there's a way to kind of do this, and this is AIDS. It's a very janky method, but it's so bad because the condition requirement for aid to work, she has to do this 420 normal attacks. And actually, wait, I don't know. I don't even know how this is gonna work. I think it's gonna have to be on the 2nd rotation. So yeah, so we do have the immune to 1 debuff here. Let's see if she gets the immunity. She didn't even get drunk on the first try. And we didn't get any attack buffs because we were not in drunken status at all. However, on the 2nd time, it should be okay. Let's take a look. So here, on the 2nd one, right here. Yeah, there you go. So she got drunk, right? We'll just keep going. I'm not gonna shoot with aid a little bit, just so that I can debuff immunity. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get 3 stacks first and then try to get the debuff immunity after that. So now Mast has 2 stacks, so she should get 3 stacks here now. And we don't have to burst immediately, to be fair. So now she has 3 stacks, right? Now let me try to give the immunity with aid. Wait, that just cleanses it. Dang it. It's not even good. Wait. So it's a consistent debuff that seems to be... I thought there was gonna be an debuff immunity. No, it just cleanses it. I thought it would give it a shield so that the next stun or the next like debuff that she gets, it would not apply, but it's actually just a cleanse. This is so jank, dude. Coco doesn't work, which means that mica shouldn't work also. 8 doesn't work. I thought 8 was gonna work, man. I actually thought. I mean, hey, dude. I thought we can keep Mast at state 3 drunk and then like just apply the shield with aid, and then though that so that Mast doesn't get stunned. But after full burst, because once the full burst ends and she has 3 stacks, she's gonna get stunned, right? But apparently not. Literally, Mast's whole kit revolves around her getting drunk. Her skill 2 needs to be drunk. The only thing is like her buff, her burst is critical damage and attack damage. But then there's no attack buff if she's not drunk. And then the critical rate and attack on skill 1 is buff. It revolves with her getting drunk. We need her to be drunk. So even though we try to cleanse her stun, what's the point of cleansing her stun at that point? Now, I mean, like, we don't have to use it technically. So we can use this, right? So, you know, burst 1, right? Rapi Red Hood with burst 1. So we can use this, and that's okay, it's fine. Mast is just gonna get stunned, and the downside here is she's gonna continuously have to re-stack her drunken state, which takes like 3 bursts total. So yes, we can keep this effects right now, but you're using her at half her efficiency at this point. This is half her efficiency because you're gonna constantly go back down to 0 stacks, and then you have to stack it up again. Stack 1, stack 2, stack 3, and then she loses that, and then she gets it back again. You have to stack it up again. It's not the worst because you can still keep, but essentially the skill 1 is gonna be there. Really the worst, actually, now that I think about it. You will still get this attack and critical rate because she will be still in drunken status most of the time. Even though when she gets stunned, when we get the full burst again, she will still get it back. So there's like very little downtime on her not being drunk, which is not bad, I guess. Yeah, the S1 still activates. Take a look. So is this when she got stunned? Yeah, so she got stunned right here, right? But you see the pirate's heart right here, the critical rate and attack, she still has that. So which is everybody else got the pirate's heart, which is the critical rate and attack. Like, I guess you can use her as is, but you're just using her half the efficiency. Yeah, because you have to restack it back up again right here. Because you're constantly going 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. But if you have anchor, you're going 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. You're just rotating between 2 and 3 stacks. So she has a very high uptime on her in the state of drunk, which is the critical rate and attack. Then you're providing some distributed damage and reloading speed. So her main thing, if she doesn't have anchor, would be giving the critical rate and attack from skill 1, and I guess some reloading speed on skill 2 from skill 2 and distributed damage. Maybe we don't have to burst with her. She could be an off burst. Really critical rate though. So you're mainly an off burst and providing critical rate and attack. Which, now that I think about it, if you don't care about the ammo, it could technically be better than, like, say, Noir or something. Now Noir has ammo replenish, so it's different thing. So let's say who's our off burst, right? Now, not with Crown. Obviously, it would be like some team 5 or something, right? So give an example, maybe. Let's say we need that water element. I mean, obviously Ludmilla would be better, right? Because why would you use her when you can just like use Ludmilla? But let's say this is like a team 5 on like an off element. Because okay, what would be the option, right? It would be something like this. She can still provide some distributed damage off, even though she is off burst. Basically, we're not even bursting with her, so we're just using her for her skill 1 and skill 2. So she's providing some distributed damage and then critical rate and attack. So we'll compare her with like Ludmilla. Let's do that. Let's see. Let me screenshot this just in case I need the data. Okay. All right, let's use Ludmilla. And these are water units, right? Because the idea is, why would we use mass in the first place? It would be likely on a team that needs water, right? So basically the other units are not water, and so we're using water as the side note. So the ones that could replace her would be Ludmilla, Phantom, Offburst, Helm, Offburst also should be fine. So that's the ideal, because like, why would we use mass in the first place, right? I mean, technically there's the critical rate and attack buff and distributed damage, but chances are we're not really gonna use that reason for the buff. So the reasoning behind comparing mass with these, part of the reason is because of the elemental advantage also that we can end up using. I think she'll have problems hitting QT when the elemental shield pops up. The only downside is if she ends up getting drunk also at the time of QTE. Now that would be rough. Ultimately depends on the boss. Wait a minute. Wait, it's doing the same amount or slightly more. 2.85 versus 2.7? And that was 111 on Mast. Yeah, okay, so 1.7 on SBS, right? Here with Ludmilla, with Mast. Oh wait, in terms of buff, because like the only reason why that we did that much more damage is because Ludmilla did 389 and then Mast did 66 mil. That means we made up that like almost 100-200 mil from SBS alone. So her being an off burst doesn't seem that bad actually. And honestly, now that I think about it, maybe this might end up being what we would set up instead of like doing double mass and anchor. See, with anchor, maybe it would be better. Maybe if the team is also distributed damage related, that might actually be good. Huh. Yeah, so off burst with her doesn't seem that bad if you're thinking about it. Now, I guess I'm on wind advantage right now. I should have tested on water advantage. Obviously, being on water advantage, the difference would be bigger. But if we're just using her as an off element, okay, let me use Phantom. Although my Phantom is relatively invested, but it's water. I should have tested on water advantage actually, because obviously us buffing SBS is kind of skewing it for the sake of like keeping the relevancy right now. But I mean, it's just one possibility or one instance of situation where Mast ended up being a better buffer for SBS. That might be something to consider, because like also volume is increasing critical rate, right? And critical damage, and critical rate, critical damage is really good for non-core shots, which is distributed damage is one of them. Okay, this is like way worse. Phantom doing jack as usual. Classic. Yeah, so using a completely just like side DPS is not really gonna cut it. Now obviously part of the reason here is also our SBS is way more invested comparatively, and also it's her elemental advantage, so it is within our best interest to buff her. But if we're going in terms of say like team 4, team 5 on solo raid water advantage, I could see this kind of setup working. Yeah, it's 2.4, so it's like it did less than Mast, right? Because SBS was not really getting buffed at all. Now the last one I could think of would be Helm, and I do have phase 2 Helm. Fine, I will upgrade Mast skill. Man, I wanted to save upgrading Mast skill though when Anchor is gonna come out, because I want to grab the data, but I guess I could test it on Mini Sky. This is Helm actually, and yeah, now obviously this is Helm. She did more damage than Mast, but she did similar buff as a 111 Mast. Now let me try Mast and see where this one gets us. I wanted to do the testing once Anchor is out, not now. Yeah, if I do it now, I will have to grab the data again for Anchor, and I will have to I mean, I can use Mini Sky, but that means that I have to pull the character on Mini Sky. I'll just do it now. How well did their scale? Okay, let's upgrade this skill 7. So upgrading Mast This is interesting because basically this performed the same as my Ludmilla, because the Ludmilla did 2.86. This is the Ludmilla 2.86. However, Scarlet, Black Shadow, and the Ludmilla team is only 1.7. Meanwhile, for this one, it's 1.9. So it got like 10% damage increase. No, it's even more, like 15 to so 15%. Yep. And that's also only at 771. And this is, yeah, basically with Ludmilla versus with Mast. This is wind advantage, actually. So we're taking advantage because of Scarlet Black Shadow. Now, obviously, in the correct water advantage, Ludmilla is gonna be better because she will do more damage and her element scales damage also, right? But this is more in a situation of we're putting it in a team 5 situation, because like Ludmilla's not gonna stay likely on team 5. I don't think so. At least I hope you're not gonna put, at least with the current units out right now, I don't think we're gonna put Ludmilla in a team 5 team, right? Ludmilla will likely be with the crown team or something like that, right? And this is just putting it to perspective if, say, we have like a bigger carry. Is Elysian Duo more beneficial than xguillotine? I mean, guillotine is only gonna be usable on water. In theory, the Elysian Duo can be used on other elements also, but I don't see it being used on electric. Because, like, is there any electric distributed damage that's not elegg? No? Yeah, so... And then the thing is, like, there's no electric B1 cooldown. So you're not gonna use Mast and Anchor duo in electric. So you're only left with neutral iron and maybe neutral water. This is the setup. Right? So in iron, it would be like litter, right? Because you have 2 waters here. If it's wind, see, what are the chances that you're gonna use SBS here with the Mast and Anchor? And because that will, Mast and Anchor also will kill the mana setup with SBS. Mana will end up buffing Anchor because Anchor is rocket launcher, right? So that setup's not gonna work. So not on wind. And on fire, that means we're gonna be using Alice. But the thing is, like, why would you use Alice with Mast and Anchor? Just so that you can buff SBS? No, it's the other way around, because you want fire, you want Alice to be benefiting from supports, right? So Mast and Anchor is not the best buffer for Alice. So not even on fire you're gonna use it. So really, the only 2 teams where I can see this, the Mast and Anchor, to be good with SBS team is on water and iron. The Mast and Anchor is mainly just usable in iron or water. And let's not talk about 2B, because, like, man, it's ridiculous that freaking Cinderella neutral is doing more damage than 2B elemental advantage. What about Trony? Dude, Trony is so freaking useless. Nobody wants to use her, even on her elemental advantage, right? And so really, and then who else are distributed damage, right? Quency and Phantom. And even then, Phantom's burst is not really worth min-maxing the distributed damage. If you're trying to min-max your distributed damage so that she can give a big AoE burst on all enemies, it's not worth. Even, I'll be honest with you, even in Quency, it's not even worth. Because this burst is not even... Okay, keep in mind, the top DPSs, their burst goes 8,000s. 8,000 plus. Or 6,000, even like 6,000 multipliers. This is 1,700. These are not good bursts. And so the main one really that can really take advantage of the distributed damage bonus is SBS. She can attack 18 times in a full burst. Basically, when she's bursting, you will proc the second proc and the third proc 6 times. 500 plus 750, 1,200 times 6, 7,500. So whenever Scarlet Black Shadow bursts, you partner her with Alice. You're doing 7,500 distributed damage, which is why the Mast and Anchor makes sense in the Alice SBS. But if you're gonna tell me that, oh dude, look at Quency distributed damage, oh look at 2B distributed damage, it's freaking 1,736, it does jack shit. The reason why Quency burst is really good is because of the buff that she's getting with the attack damage buff. There's like additional attack damage buff that she gets, and then for that 10 seconds her basic attack gets that bonus attack damage ups, and then on top of, like, you know, a little bit of that, and then she gets like core bonus damage, sure, and then she gets an attack multiplier, sure, but then the attack damage and attack buff that she's getting also applies to her basic attacks. So it's not just purely from the burst skill, but also her basic attack is part of the contribution of the burst. That's why Quency loses about 40% damage if she doesn't burst. If you're making Quency just do off burst damage, she's just doing 60% of her, as opposed to, like, say if she's bursting, she's doing that 100%, right? And then for Phantom, Phantom is even worse. If she doesn't burst, she only loses about 20% of her damage. So she's one of the few that her burst is not that very impactful to her overall, like, utility slash damage. With Dorothy, yeah, I think Dorothy is something to consider also. The only downside that I can see here is the cooldown, which ends up being kind of rough actually. But in a water elemental advantage, I could totally see it. And especially if you have a lot of elemental water on your Doro, I could totally see it. The thing is, you have to keep in mind, how much damage does Dorothy do in the first place? You gotta take advantage of these. Kind of rough because the cooldown is gonna suck here. Yeah, because, like, okay, sure, if you do both Mast and Anchor, right, even if you do both of them, you're gonna be running out of cooldown. There's gonna be a huge long wait time. That's the biggest downside on this. And now the thing is, like, okay, sure, if you end up like doing something else, maybe you could do this and then, I don't know, like get that brevity in something, but then you're not taking advantage of the distributed damage at this point now. So like there's just a bunch of wasted, like, team building right now. Yeah, Privity's burst sucks so much. Like you want your 2 burst 3s to have meaningful bursts, right? If they give Mass and Anchor ammo reduction as well, that would be interesting. Yeah, for sure. The thing is, like, there's no one else that reduces ammo reduction to the team. Literally, it's a very unique Privity setup right now. After all this time, still, it's crazy. Why does your Naga say confirmation required? So that you guys keep asking, what does it do? By the way, did you know that 56% of you still hasn't subscribed yet? Make sure to click that subscribe button, click that bell notification, leave a comment, like, and subscribe.